Hey, the 70s called. They want your sweatshirt back, by the way.
Come on, man. No?
Yeah, I like it. I just had to give you shit about something. I mean, come on.
Someone in your ear said that.
No, it was me. It was totally me. You got a good style.
Completely
I'm down
your
with
vibe.
your style. Yes,
Right.
I'm down with your style. We need to improve your sneaker game, but other than that, you're good. Yeah, buddy. You looking good today, though. All black, buttoned up.
Yeah.
Only if you buttoned your top button, you'd be really cool. Instead, you're just cool.
Oh, the second to top.
No, yeah.
That's top for me.
Yeah, that's top for you.
That's top for me.
You like to show
If
your...
I didn't have the mic,
Right.
I would go the other one and button as well.
You would. I know.
Yeah.
You're Johnny Chest
wife
Hair
hates
type
it, too.
guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And your shoe game's pretty good. I mean,
It's better today.
Yeah.
Speaking of down there, and I'm referring to shoes.
Right.
I did notice that these jeans, as long as we're talking fashion,
Yeah.
about 6, 7 years old, and they're flared at the bottom.
Oh, right.
You know, so
Right.
I don't know if it's all right.
Well, now that you've said it, I see that you're right. Your cool meter just went down another notch. You just got knocked down to the BCS.
How about my honesty meter, though?
Yeah, your honesty meter is up there, and I always respect that. What's up, everybody?
see you.
Chris Simms, Paul Burmeister. It's the Wednesday podcast, which means we are going to the thing that's sweeping the nation. What the happened? We got big coming on.
Yep.
About 25 minutes from now. We're going to run through some quarterbacks with him. I sent him a text message, so we just won't let him ramble. I think he'll have some parameters.
A little more direction?
Which probably means we'll have no direction at all, knowing him. He'll go. But we're going to hit a number of things today. We're going to hit, New England, Philly, Denver, Minnesota, Dallas, Detroit. Like I said, some of the quarterbacks with Big Phil. And then some KC, Kansas City Chiefs versus Los Angeles Chargers. We'll hit a little of that too, along with New Orleans, Tampa Bay on the offensive side of the ball, and just some things that jumped out to me there. That's pretty much the rundown of the show. And we are going to interact more because I think this is something I would like to do. I've been on everybody and Pete Dimoletitis.
Pete D.
Yeah,
Pete
I
D.
like Dimoletitis.
Yeah.
Okay, I love butchering his name. Yes, he has been all over Twitter, Instagram, and just trying to, I want to incorporate them. I want questions for them. I want to answer them. I want to incorporate our fans
right here.
and everything. Awesome. So Go ahead. You take the show from here on out.
We have an automatic on where to start. What the happened?
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
Not just because it was with big name teams, Patriots and Eagles.
Right.
But the final play,
Yep.
at least the final play that mattered in that game.
Yes.
Carson Wentz to Nelson Agholor.
Right.
4th down, back of the end zone. Some people are calling it a drop. Some people are calling it a bad throw.
Yeah.
The way you saw it.
Yes.
What the happened at the end of that play?
Man, I'm so proud of you. Look at you swearing and everything. Gosh, you're all
Feels
grossed
good.
up. You're all grossed up. So first off,
Yeah.
that would have been an incredible catch. I don't know where you stand on it. And I want to hear it from a second. Just wait one second. I think it would have been an incredible catch. Now, I know he got 2 hands on the ball. But, again, as he's running full speed, let's just say across a clock from like 5 o'clock to 11 o'clock, right? Mm-hmm. He's running that way, full speed. And the ball was thrown at 12 o'clock. And he had to adjust at the very back of the end zone. I do think wind played a factor in this throw. And again, I don't know that, but we did. If you watch that game on Sunday, they showed the flags a lot during the game to show that the wind. So even on film, the ball looked like it got hit by the wind to a degree with me. I don't know for sure. It's a tough thing to call. You get 2 hands on the ball, and everybody goes, man, you get 2 hands on the ball, you should catch it. And I understand that. But I still think if he catches that ball, it's going to be one of the catches of the year. That's how difficult it was, at least in my eyes. Mm-hmm. I know not everybody sees it that way. What do you think?
I thought that Wentz threw a near perfect ball, considering when he had to throw it.
Yes, he
and
did.
Where he had to throw it.
Right.
So that's number one.
Yes.
I agree with it would have been a super difficult catch.
Right.
If you just froze the moment and had a picture of the moment the ball touched Agholor's hands.
Yes.
It was awkward. It was way behind him.
He's bent backwards.
Just that picture.
Right.
I totally agree.
Right.
There's something about a completely nuanced and high-level receiver or pass catcher where he can tell when the ball is in midair.
Yes.
And I give him I cut Agholor some slack because he didn't see the ball off of Wentz's hand.
Exactly right. He's still running, and Wentz had to throw it so high and early that
which is, to me, a big part of a pass catcher being able to judge it and track it well. So
Agreed.
He didn't see it off his hand.
Agreed.
That makes it really hard.
It does.
But when he glanced up at it in the air, he had a second and a half to take his route. like you talked about, he was he was kind of running across the field.
He was.
To adjust it, if he would have seen, and again, this is very high-level nuanced stuff.
Yeah, it is.
Doesn't mean that he can't play.
Right.
But if he could have noticed when the ball was going up in the air, when he saw it, where it was going, and a lot of really good guys can do this, he could have adjusted his route.
Sure.
So it wasn't a reach back. It would have been more of a here. Would have been about a 2 or 3 yard adjustment.
Agreed.
So the fact that he dropped the ball with the where he ran, I don't have a problem with that. I think he should have adjusted his route. He should have been able to track the ball, adjust to where it was going quicker, and made it not so awkward at the point of impact.
I don't disagree with anything you said there. Now, I could certainly sit there and also argue Carson Wentz needs to throw the ball across the field more. As I'm saying, if he's running from 5 to 11 on a clock, Carson Wentz needs to throw the ball at 10 o'clock, 10:30, somewhere in that range. It's a mistake a lot of quarterbacks make sometimes. You see the deep post thrown down the field, and the guy's running, right down. He's running towards, let's say, you're in the middle of the field, and he's supposed to catch the post down the middle, right in the middle of the 2 hashes, and a guy throws a post at the right hash. And now you're running full speed, and you have to do this. A lot of quarterbacks made that mistake. I make that mistake. And my dad always talks about it. So I do think Wentz could have thrown it over that way more, okay, if I was going to say one thing. Also, I think this whole thing is being accentuated a little bit more is we're jumping on a popular narrative.
Exactly.
Nelson Agholor can't catch.
Right.
This has been a thing ever since, the fire in Philadelphia, and the guy on the news said, we were catching babies, unlike Agholor.
Yeah.
So it's become a narrative now, and I think that's why it's become a bigger deal,
and
too.
He's contributed to it a lot.
Yes, he has.
A much bigger drop was on that second window quick slant.
The third and 2 that he dropped, yes.
Yeah.
And then on that one, too, I couldn't tell maybe if somebody got their hand on it on film. I don't remember seeing it clearly in the TV copy. It was very close.
Yeah.
Either way, that one was right here in his breadbasket, and he had 2 hands right around it to catch that one.
Right.
And that was a big drop. You're exactly right. Now, just to speak specifically about that play, that was Bill Belichick putting the pressure on the Eagles' offense in the biggest moment of the game, the final play.
Yeah.
It's 4th and 10. Now, first off, if we want to, now, a lot of people I hear want to blame Carson Wentz for the game in general. What's going on with Carson Wentz? Hey, listen, everybody. I watched this film. There's not a lot of people open throughout the game. There's just not. Nobody in Philadelphia is that special at receiver. There's nobody that scares you. We've talked about this a lot. I feel like I'm kind of preaching to the choir here. So, again, nobody's going oh, my gosh, we got to back off. It's Nelson Agholor and Zach Ertz. Alshon Jeffrey's not even out there. I mean, they don't have a team right now that scares you. Deshaun Jackson's not there. They have nothing to back a defense off, let alone one of the best secondaries and defenses we've seen here in recent history.
Right.
So there's that aspect of it. Now, I will say this. On that 4th and 10 pass, there was a 3rd and 10 out route to Zach Ertz.
Completely missed him.
Completely missed him. On 1st and 10, he completely missed him again on a very similar route. Had Zach Ertz going on a little Y out, as we call it, the Y as the tight end, and missed that throw as well. So if I'm going to blame Carson Wentz for anything, it would be those 2 throws, I think, were his most egregious mistakes of the day.
On that same drive.
On that same drive. Because when you go to 4th and 10 against Bill Belichick, good luck. Okay? I don't care who you are.
Had he hit the one on 3rd down to Zach Ertz, which is, and I always preface this by saying nothing is easy, but it's as easy a throw as you're going to have.
In the NFL, you're exactly right.
It wasn't even close, and it would have been about 2 yards to gain if he would have completed that.
Yes, you're right. Or maybe he breaks a tackle against the first. It's a different game.
Oh, my gosh.
Bill Belichick might not call an out blitz if it's 4th and 2, because now he's going to go, they can just throw it short, and if my guy doesn't make a tackle, it's going to be a touchdown, and all of a sudden Doug Peterson's crazy and might go for 2, and we lose the game.
Right.
So it totally changed the game, him missing those 1st and 3rd down throws. And like you said, for NFL high-level players like Ertz and Carson Wentz, that's about as slam dunk as it should get for getting a completion.
You were going to say something more about the 4th down play.
Well, the 4th down play, I just think, again, it's they bring the all-out blitz. It's really well covered for the most part. They're sending verticals down the field. He's got Ertz to the left, 3 receivers to the right. He's going to throw that inside post to Nelson Agholor, the three of the verticals, and he's on the inside. If he has maybe a hair more time, and even really if he just hung in there for a second, he might have been able to throw a curl route to his left to Ertz for the 1st down. Now, he would have got lambasted, and he would have probably had to hold the ball even an extra second longer than what he did when he threw the ball to Agholor. But either way, It's Bill Belichick in a big moment like that. And when you have more than 5 yards, I would bet on Bill Belichick blitzing and forcing your hand more times than not. They brought 7, okay? So it's an all-out casino blitz. We're rolling the dice. We're going to force their hand and see if they got the right call and if they can make the right blitz adjustment and actually protect it the right way. And within doing that, they brought 7, but 2 took 2 steps in and then dropped out.
Yeah.
So it was 7, but it was really 5 because 2 then were underneath in case they threw a shallow cross or an inside slant. They're going to be able to bat the ball down and do that as well.
Thinking about protection and also the fact that you want to incorporate some more opinions and questions from Instagram.
Right.
Emil Martinson says, was it the Lane Johnson injury that derailed the Eagles' offense, or did Belichick change something after the 95-yard touchdown drive? Okay,
so in my assessment of watching the film, I would say to Emil Martinson, very good question, because this is a topic that I've heard throughout, all talk shows.
Comes from Sweden.
Awesome. What's up, Sweden?
Yep.
I like that. I got some Sweden in my bloodlines, just so you know. My grandmother was always like, we're part Viking. Either way, I don't think it had a big effect on the game. Okay, let's take the 2 drives for points for the Philadelphia Eagles. First play of the game was a 50-yard pass interference call. That set them up for the first field goal.
Right.
The 95-yard touchdown drive was as hard and tough of a drive as you're going to find in football this year. I mean, it was, and I don't know how much you saw my notes. I know I got my notes a little late to you today, so I don't know if you got to go over them like you usually do. But, some of it was screens, tight end screen, check down, 3-yard runs. I mean, it was a lot of work. It was 16 plays, 95 yards. They executed at a very high level. That's really not realistic to say you're going to be able to do that against this defense drive after drive after drive.
Like with both quarterbacks, it was like watching a good golfer try to save bogey the whole day.
Yeah, pretty much. You're right. I think that's a
and sometimes saving bogey's good. It's
you're exactly right.
To do, but it was difficult.
It was difficult.
It wasn't pretty.
No, neither team has great offensive firepower, and both defenses were clearly the better units on the field in both of those matchups. I think you're exactly right. And, hey, that Eagles defense is special. I just burped into the microphone if I was wondering what that sound was. That Eagles defense is really good. That Patriots defense is special.
Yeah.
They've gone into the 85 Bears, 2000 Ravens conversation. They have. And maybe they don't have that dominant star that we can latch on. There's no Richard Dent and Mike Singletary.
They're Hall of Famers on that defense.
Right. There's no Ray Lewis.
But that was about not just the Hall of Famers, but the scheme. That was so new and so aggressive.
Yes, it was.
What is it about this Patriots defense that makes you think of the Bears?
Well, I think the scheme as well. But it's just not like this aggressive, overpowering scheme. It's more about confusion and great coaching in the back end with a secondary that's as good as any secondary we've seen here in the last 10 years. I mean, they're super talented. There's no other way to say it.
How often are they playing with 5 or 6 DBs?
To me, that's a great question. I don't even know the numbers, but I'm going to say like 85% most of the time. To me, that's one of the things you need to do when you play, and I wrote this in my notes. When you play them, the New England Patriots, you need to get in 2 backs, 1 tight end. You need to get in 2 tight ends, 1 back. That's what Baltimore did to them. It took away we got 6 guys at the line of scrimmage. Are we going to bring 2 or 3, 4, 5, 6? Are we going to drop them out? Are we going to play man? Are we going to play some crazy zone? When you get into some of those heavy run sets, they have to get into 3-4. And you can't be as crazy with some of your things. Oh, gosh, there's 2 tight ends to the right. And if we bring one of those crazy blitzes or have people standing up and dropping out, and they happen to run the ball right where we're dropping out, man, we're in deep crap.
It's also a bit of an aberration because they have to worry so much about Jackson running.
Yes, it is. It is. You're exactly right.
It doesn't apply to what Philly would try to do.
No, it does not. And it's one of my issues with Philly anyways. I wish they would just get underneath the center and run the ball a little bit more in general. I thought that was one of the areas that they might be able to take advantage. Again, I've said this before. I said this last week. This is a weird year for the New England Patriots. They usually have a lot of big people on their defensive line. Right now, they have 2 defensive tackles. They have Lawrence Guy and Danny Shelton. That's really all they got. And now Lawrence Guy is kicking ass, and so is Danny Shelton. But when they get in their 3-4, their other defensive end, which is really a defensive tackle in the 3-4, is Dietrich Wise. He's 275 pounds. That would be one thing I would tell all teams. Run the ball at him, please. He's a 275-pound defensive tackle. Run at him.
Yeah.
And those are little things that has jumped out to me about the game in general.
What grade would you give to Carson Wentz?
Carson Wentz.
You touched on him a little bit.
Right. I mean, I think realistically, probably a B to a B minus. I'm not going to sit here and blame the game on Carson Wentz. I'm not. There was not that much there to be had. I didn't look at the game and went, oh, man, Carson Wentz is missing people open all over the field. How dare he? No. If Carson Wentz had any issues in this game is at points I feel like he was a little too stationary in the pocket. Hey, nobody's open. Get out. Move. Press the issue. You're an athletic quarterback who throws it great on the run.
Yeah.
The other thing I'll say he does, too, to me, he locks onto Zach Ertz a little too much. I think there was a few times where I want to go, get off Zach Ertz.
Yeah.
He's not going to be there in this play. Go to the next read. And that, and there was maybe one or two plays where he played the one-on-one shot, right? Like there was a single over here, and he went, I'm going to go for the go ball or the post. And I wanted to go, ooh, man, if you just played the three-man concept over here, you're going to get a 10-yard completion. So I think there was a little bit of that. That's hard to always do because in his coaching, they're told him at times, you got man-to-man with this guy. We'd like you to take a shot.
Right.
So that's not always like he's not going to be graded negatively by his coaches when he does that. The big thing to me, more than anything, Ertz had a good day, but the Patriots were not going to let two things happen. They weren't going to let the wheel route out of the backfield by the running backs beat them. They were all over that. That's been one of the staples of the Eagles team is, back next to Carson Wentz in the shotgun. He looks like he's going to run a flat route, and then he goes up, and the inside linebacker commits too hard to the flat route or gets caught up in some trash by one of the receivers over there. New England was all over that all day. So they took away that staple. And then in a lot of big situations, they were trying to get all over Zach Ertz. They were very aware of what he was. At times, they put Stefon Gilmore on him in some certain situations. Just said, we're going to let you man him up.
Might as well.
Right. And, hey, Carson Wentz, when he did hit Zach Ertz, for the most part, he was covered like glue.
Yeah.
He just threw a rifle right underneath his chin to where it's like, that was perfect coverage. There's nothing you can do. It was a perfect throw.
Right.
And I think that really kind of sums up the game on that side more than anything.
I think evaluating Carson Wentz, he's one of these guys, and numbers give us an indication, but with Carson Wentz, it's difficult to look at his stat line and attach those numbers to how you felt watching him play.
Yeah.
It's kind of like the game against Atlanta early in the season. When he played with all kinds of courage and made big plays late.
They had people
didn't
hurt.
win.
Right.
You look at his numbers, you're like, eh.
Yeah.
But, man, he gave you a great feeling watching.
Yes.
And I thought it was similar against New England. He played his best in the fourth quarter.
Right.
His best throws came late.
Yes, they did.
Gave his team a chance, gave Agholor a chance at the end.
Yep.
So I had B-/C+.
Yeah, I think
read
that's
this
fair.
as part of it.
I think that's right there.
I just have to remind myself, as much as saying it out loud to you, that he's a guy where the numbers don't always match up.
No, they do not. He puts a lot of stress on your defense. And again, just for the last time before we move on to the Vikings game a little bit, is, again, there's nothing special on that offense right now. You just can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit sometimes. And they're not a chicken shit, but they're not an elite offense. They don't have elite talent. There's nothing in there that a game plan-wise where a team is going, oh, my gosh, we're shaking in our boots. Oh, we have to worry about Zach Ertz 7 yards over the middle. Oh, my gosh, this is going to be a scary day. That's really the big thing. They miss a Deshaun Jackson.
Yeah, they do.
They miss an Alshon Jeffrey. And then just to flip it over on the other side right now, hey, Brady and they weren't real great. We know that.
Yeah.
Same kind of story. They don't have anything that scares you on the offensive side of the ball. The running game right now is not working to what they wanted to do. They're built to run the football. Philly's defense is real right now. They are. They're healthy, with Jalen Mills and Ronald Darby and Avonte Maddox out on the edge. They can play man-to-man. The safety plays good. Fletcher Cox is healthy. So that is no, joke of a defense they played either.
They're very good.
They are.
And correct me if you think I'm wrong here, but I thought that the game plan and Tom Brady's play both felt very uninspired.
Yeah, well, I think they realized that this was a tough one and that they were to what he said on his little interview on Monday, they're a defensive team right now. He's smart enough and man enough to check his ego at the door and go, yeah, it's 3rd and 8. I'm just going to throw the ball down in the ground. I'm not going to let them get a 4-yard touchdown drive and do those type of things. He realizes he's got a special unit on the other side of the ball, and he's just not going to force the issue.
But he also felt as frustrated as he ever has been in a postgame.
Well, definitely. I get it too. Hey, listen, it's new receivers. You got N'Keal Harry in there for the first time, really. Mohamed Sanu's still learning the offense. Julian Edelman's not having a great year. There's no Gronk.
He drops.
Yes,
yeah,
right.
So rare. rare.
The offensive line is not playing up to its capacity. And then I think that's also leading to Brady missing a few throws every now and then, too, because he's just like, the game feels crazy to him.
It's and how many different ways can they throw a screen pass?
Well, exactly right. Yeah, exactly. I mean, and then that's one of the big things Philly did in the game is they took away what I always call with them and the Saints, their bullshit plays. Like, just where plays are you and me can complete it, but they gash people 3-4 times a game with those type of plays, and Philly did not let that happen.
Moving on to Broncos and Vikings. Let's start this one out, all under the umbrella of what happened on some key plays. This is a tweet from Rhett. Diggs' 54-yard touchdown looked like maybe a dope design, maybe some great improvisation, definitely bad zone communication. What did you see?
Yeah, well, so great question by Rhett, and not necessarily a dope design. I won't say that.
I thought it was.
Well,
it was pretty good.
Well, it's cool, but it's not like everybody's got this in their playbook. To me, this was the cool thing. It was cool that they were looking for the backside post off of a boot left, right? So that's what's cool about it. I think everybody has the play. Not everybody alerts that guy on the play, okay?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody has the play, and you're looking at me like I'm an asshole.
No, I'm not.
It means it's going to be fun. I don't think everybody has the play where you fake the run to the right. You sprint 7 yards to the left, all with the hope that you're going to get that free safety to go with you. Which they did. And opened up perfectly for the post in where he was supposed to be.
It did. So I think it was like everybody has the play where I would give them dope is going to alert it during the week through preparation that they play a defense where the safety is going to jump the crosser. Right? So what they were in basically is what I would call like gun F left. You said it. He's in the shotgun, the running back's to his left, right? He fakes to the running back, and then it's a bootleg to the left side, which they're amazing at. And what I would like to say is I don't know where the hell that play went for 3 quarters. It's been the bread and butter all year. They outcoached themselves a little bit in the first 3 quarters. Like I think they thought like Vic Fangio's not going to give us these plays this week.
Gave him too much
and they didn't call him. I was like, am I in the 3rd quarter and I haven't seen a bootleg yet? Like what the hell is going on with the Minnesota Vikings? So I think they outthought themselves a little bit from that standpoint. But, you know, to say this, so here we go. It's gun F left. I went in New England offense here. I went ride 134 X post, right? And it was 3-4 defense, right? 3 down linemen, 4 linebackers. It was man coverage. And on the right side is Diggs. And Chris Harris has him man-to-man.
I think it was man-free. I think there's a free safety
man-free, right. That's what I mean by man coverage. You're right. I got to explain that better. Man-free. William Jackson's in the middle. He's the middle safety, number 22, who's a hell of a player. Chris Harris is, when at the snap of the ball, and I'll pull this up if you wanted to look at it, he is playing 8 yards, 6 yards off, and I'm 2 or 3 yards inside. So to me, that tells you that, oh, I'm playing a coverage that if there's a crosser route, my safety's going to take it. I need to stop the post route. That's what his coverage and his alignment was all about. And so now the bootleg happens. Cousins is booting to his left. He sets up. And to me, where the beauty of this is Stefon Diggs' route. Stefon Diggs kind of comes off kind of controlled, like I'm not running real hard. I'm just going to stride it out. And then as soon as he kind of got to about the 10 to 12 yard mark, he hit it. And he went zoom, and he crossed underneath Chris Harris's face. And Chris Harris was not supposed to let him go inside. So he kind of gave him the rope-a-dope or the okie-dokie there, where he kind of, I'm just chilling. I might run a clear-out go. I'm not a part of this play. And then he went zoom. And Kirk Cousins, to his credit, he booted out to the left. He saw he had nobody around him. And William Jackson does take the crosser. And bam, he throws really one of the best throws of the year for Kirk Cousins. And that's saying a lot because he's thrown a lot of damn good balls.
He has.
Yes, he has.
2 things jumped out to me.
Yes.
I did like the design because it took the free safety and moved him just like throwing a board. They're like, boy, if we could get the free safety over there, we could run the post.
Right.
And that little half rollout moved him. So I thought that, to me, that stood out as pretty cool.
Sure.
Number 2, and just adding on to what you said about the throw, normally when you hit a post route, it's kind of an up and over, and we've seen Cousins do that a number of times. He throws a real pretty ball, a lot of trajectory, and lets the receiver run underneath it. This was more of a dart.
It was a rifle.
It was 45 yards, just like you would throw a 20-yard seam route, and I didn't know Kirk Cousins had that in him. to push it downfield with that kind of ball and to put it right exactly on him, too.
I agreed. All right. And I'm with you. The throw was not it was like, usually when you throw that route, you throw it way high up in the air, almost like Carson Wentz's throw.
Yeah.
And we throw it way out there and just let my guy go get it.
He drove this one.
He drove it.
Yeah.
So here it is. See where he's lining up here?
And we're taking a peek. So
we're taking a peek.
Radio.
Here we go. Yeah, you're better at radio than me. But either way, okay, it's 2 receivers to the right. All right, tight end to the left, another receiver to the left. Dalvin Cook in the shotgun next to Kirk Cousins to his left. Now see, look where he is. Let's see, Chris Harris, I'm going to say is 6 yards off at the snap, clearly inside, right? Mm-hmm. He's on the edge of the inside numbers. I would say he's a yard and a yard half. Stefon Diggs outside the numbers. There it goes. Here goes Irv Smith on the crossing route. All right. Simmons, the safety, 31, is going with him. I think his rule all the way here, I don't know. William Jackson, maybe he's wrong. Maybe he should be back over here. I don't know. Maybe he should be playing center field. If he is playing center field, he's wrong. They might be telling him to watch out for crossers, maybe to watch something here.
I think he ran with Cousins and was a little bit thinking about the go route on the other side.
You might be totally right. I want to say they're giving him the freedom to kind of just play the eyes of Cousins because of the way Chris Harris lined up to basically say, I'm not going to let anybody inside because my safety has his own set of rules for this play. But either way, see how he's kind of controlled? Like, watch how he's controlled, and then watch how Stefon Diggs hits it all of a sudden. Just boom, and all of a sudden he crosses his face, he throws his hands up, and you're exactly right. Kirk Cousins throws just an absolute dime. And what the hell did I just do to that there?
You made it disappear.
I just made it disappear.
One more shout out to Kirk Cousins. 29 out of 35.
Right.
Okay, he's piling up week after week of numbers similar to this, and just like I talked about with Lamar Jackson one week, I think it was 15 out of 17, and because he's doing this a number of times, it gets overlooked.
Right.
29 out of 35, 3 touchdowns, no picks against a very good defense.
A very good defense. A top 5 defense in football.
With 3 touchdown drives that they had to have in the fourth quarter.
Clutch as it can get. Yeah. You're exactly right. And, again, there was just a lot of high degree of difficulties of throws, other than the Rudolph bootleg, where he's supposed to be, so just to hit that play.
Speaking of. Getting back to the
Sorry, let's go. Angle. Tell me to shut up sometimes.
Podtastical.
Which
is quite a handle.
Oh, thank you.
Can you break down the Cousins bootleg touchdown to Rudolph? How was he that wide open?
Okay. All right. So basically, again, another bootleg, which, again, I'm going to reiterate, was crazy that we didn't see these plays a little more in the game in general early on. And this Denver defense is very good, and I'm getting to it just so we can all pull it up and watch it together again. You and I. But it is a bootleg left. And this is where a new guy in your defense screws it up. Duke Dawson, a guy they had traded with the New England Patriots.
Where's he playing?
He is playing on this play. So to paint the picture for everybody, it's 2 tight ends. There's the tight end to the left, the tight end to the right. Stefon Diggs is the receiver to the left. And 81 is the receiver to the right, who I'm blanking on his name, and it doesn't really matter for the purposes of this play. They're going to fake zone right? Kirk Cousins comes out from underneath center. He's faking the run to the right from Dalvin Cook. Oops, he keeps the ball. Boot left, like we always see, okay? They are playing a cover 3 defense, right? And look at Simmons here. He's telling you as Rudolph is going across, because he's lined up over Rudolph, he's yelling, crosser, crosser, crosser. And Duke Dawson, for some reason, is looking too much at Kirk Cousins, or maybe expecting somebody to come in the flat, but his job in this coverage is to pass off the crosser and be there. And it's too late before he sees it, and the ball goes over his head, and it becomes a wide open touchdown.
I see something different, and tell me if I'm reading this the wrong way.
You probably are. Go ahead.
I agree with what you just pointed out.
Right.
However, 3 deep zone.
Yes.
So just by basic virtue of that, the corner to the far side of the field has that third of the field.
Yes, he does.
Deep.
He takes the bait a little bit and goes inside.
He takes the bait a little bit.
He does.
He followed the in route to the middle of the field.
Yes. Well, and again, this is one of the issues with like the cover 3 Seattle match defense. At times they tell you, because he's got people underneath to take the short crossers and things like that. It's kind of one of the things that's susceptible to this. It's definitely zone. You're right. He should not go in all the way. He's got Simmons, who's coming back to drop in there to try to take away the middle of the field. But yeah, realistically, he should not take those extra few steps in.
When he did that,
yes.
because there is a drop defender a couple yards off the line of scrimmage.
Right.
When that corner was on the far side of the field, followed the in route.
Right.
Once he came to the middle of the field, from after you get past 2 yards beyond the line of scrimmage, there's nobody on the far third of the field from there.
There is nobody.
Not one person.
No, there's nobody. No, I'm just telling you the rules of this Seattle type match defense, what they're trying to run here, okay? And again, Stefon Diggs, the receiver to the left, is in a tight split. He's in a tight split, so that makes him tighter as well, right? He's lined up on the hash almost, basically, as the play goes. And they're not just going to let people run across the middle of the field wide open. They're not. At some point, he's going to match him, especially when the receiver to his side, the second receiver, the other tight end, Irv Smith, does not go out. He has no indicator that, oh, they're going to screw me over there. If this is just a good play at the right time and a guy who's supposed to be sitting here waiting for the crosser is not there. Do I agree with what you're saying with Chris Harris? Do I think he should stay over there a little bit more? Definitely. But it's one of the susceptible areas of their this kind of defensive call. Like if you see, I don't want to get too in the weeds here, but if you watch Seattle over the years, they're playing cover 3, and if you ran a 16-yard in cut on Richard Sherman, and he doesn't see the slot receiver to his side threatening that third, he's told to follow him in, match. That's why it's a match zone. So it almost becomes man. It becomes man.
Right.
Right.
Shouldn't he have seen Rudolph?
I don't think he should. I think his keys are the tight end. So he's only keying his 2 guys to his side to threaten him. And again, I could be wrong, but I know a lot about that defense. Whether it's just my years in New England and friends around the NFL who I have a lot of conversations with, those are just one of the rules of it. Again, if Irv Smith, the tight end here, did something somewhat to threaten that, I think he widens and stays wide. But because number 2, the tight end, which is almost a slot receiver in this, he blocks, his indicators basically go, I have Stefon Diggs kind of man-to-man here. Right.
So to answer the question that we were attending to on Twitter, you saying they just caught him. They caught him at the right time with a very good play call.
Caught him right play. And Duke Dawson, who's new in the system, does not drop back and stay back in his area as the underneath coverage is trying to pass off a intermediate crosser. That's what this defense is all for. That's what killed Seattle. Think about the first play of the Super Bowl for the Denver Broncos. All right, the first play was this missed snap.
Oh, yeah.
The second play, when they get the ball back, Peyton Manning throws a shallow crosser to Demaryius Thomas, and he gets absolutely obliterated, right? Because everything was, they're in man-to-man. This is the beauty of the Seattle defense at the time. It looked like man, but they would pass off the crossers. Once you left your little, I'm playing you man, but only in this little area. And then once you leave this area, I go back to my zone. And that's where Cam Chancellor crushed Demaryius Thomas, and that was the beauty of the Seattle defense in general. You're not buying me all the way here. I know you're not. I can tell you're looking at your face.
I'm listening.
I can tell. All right,
I'm
good.
listening.
All right.
I'm listening and looking at where we're going next.
All right.
I would like to keep in mind that maybe the backside corner wasn't supposed to come in as well.
Sure.
Maybe.
Sure.
Just maybe.
Sure, I get you. These are all maybes.
Right.
I'm not in the meeting room with them. All I'm trying to tell people is what I see on film. My years of being around football and learning, these are things that I think happened here.
I give you the benefit of the doubt.
But in the NFL, with a good coach like Vic Fangio, week to week, little rules with certain defenses get tweaked and changed. So I don't know.
It's something I would not have known had you not pointed that out. Let's go to the other side of this matchup. The Broncos ended the game sequence.
Yes.
They had 3 shots at the end zone.
3 shots at the end zone.
All 3 fell incomplete.
All 3 fall incomplete. I mean, hey, they convert, first off, 2 4th and 6 and a 4th and 1 on this last drive of the game. They call time. They had 2 timeouts going into this drive. They called 2 of the timeouts before the 2 of the 4th downs in general, just to make sure, hey, let's get our new quarterback, Brandon Allen, and everybody there ready to go. So, the big thing is, yes, they have a 4th down, a 4th and 6, and Brandon Allen scrambles, right?
Yes.
He scrambles all the way.
Second, 4th, and 6th, they converted on that drive.
Right, second, yeah. They converted a 4th and 1 other time somewhere in between those two. So you're exactly right. He scrambles to the right, and what does he get down to? What yard line is he on? I think he's on the 4-yard line, maybe. I think it's the 4, right?
Yep.
He scrambles all the way down to the 4. Now, this is where offensive play callers and coaches get too greedy at times. Like, just go spike the ball, okay? When he goes down, all right, they snap that ball at 27 seconds. When he goes down, it's like 21, somewhere in there, if they just down it and spike it, it's going to be probably 17 seconds left in the game. And you're going to have 3 plays from the 4-yard line with 17 seconds.
They got 3 off.
They did get 3. So this is where it ends up not being as a big a deal because they get 3.
I know what you're saying.
And this is where the other thing is. So he gets the first. They're trying to be greedy and not spike the ball because they're going to go, oh, we're going to run 4 plays. And I'm going to go, no, you're not going to run 4 plays because you're going to waste time here trying to call this first play because you're going, oh, we got the first down. Call 374. And then, he's trying to tell everybody, and all of a sudden, the clock's running out. They get bailed out by Mike Zimmer. Mike Zimmer calls a timeout with 10 seconds. Because he is now going, wait, we're a little disorganized too, and I'd rather just call a timeout and coach my guys up real quick, which I have no problem with that. Now, he could have took the other way of like New England versus Seattle in the Super Bowl, where Bill Belichick saw that the Seattle Seahawks were all flustered and crazy before they got down to that 1-yard line. And if you watch America's game, he basically says that's why he didn't call a timeout.
Exactly.
Because I could tell they were flustered and didn't know what's going on. And, of course, he felt like his team was very prepared for what they might do down in that area, right? So they call the timeout. Now, I think the big thing is the first play, they run the fade stop.
Correct.
To the right side to 81
That was the
Patrick.
first and the third play.
The first and the third play, right.
Yes.
First one's to 81 Patrick.
Yep.
The second play ends up being the Y out to Noah Fant, right?
Yes.
Right, which was good coverage.
Yeah.
Right. I mean,
underthrown, ball knocked down.
Exactly right.
It was the only one of the 3 in the sequence that didn't really have a chance.
Agreed. The other ones were 50-50 balls where you thought, ooh, this looks okay here, right? Right.
What do you think of both pass catchers? 81 on the first attempt.
Right.
Again, the same play, fake stop, throw it hard, throw a fastball,
right.
And then Noah Fant at the end.
Yeah, well, there was a lot of contact. I think that's the first thing you can say. And I have no problem with that. Those are instances where, like, refs, stay the out of the game unless it's like something like the guy literally tackled him or something like that.
Would you call either one or both of them drops?
I would call them... I don't think I would call them drops. I would call them like, I would like them to catch the ball, but because we see it so much. But with the amount of contact and fighting there, I think it's tough. I do think it's a tough catch. Now, Noah Fant at the end, hey, Curse is all over him. I mean, he's kind of pulling his shoulder, and you could see the jersey detach from the shoulder a little bit and all of that. But again, I'm all for that. He also initiated contact when they ran into each other, and he throws his hands into him, right? So the moral of the story is, here's 2 things that jump out to me. First off, spike the ball. Maybe you can change your last 3 play calls now because you don't have to worry about, oh, we just got to throw a ball and get it out of our hand real quick. Okay, that would be the first thing. Maybe you can do another play where it's a pick play and I can wait for people to cross and do things like this. And the play might take 5 or 6 seconds each play, right? But now, because they're trying to get 3 plays off in 10 seconds, they're going to do really like, hey, one-on-one, just get it out of your hand and throw it up and hopefully our guy can catch it, right?
Right.
So that's where I think not spiking the ball hurts them. Added to the fact of, for the second week in a row, Mike Zimmer, as we talked about with the Cowboy game last week, he was not going to let Amari Cooper beat him last week. He wasn't going to let Sutton beat him this week. They doubled Sutton's ass all 3 plays. They were like, you want to win this game? We're not going to let number 14, who's been us all game long for 113 yards, he's not going to beat us. I give Zimmer a lot of credit for that. And then my last thing of this would be, man, you had all week to game plan, and we just went with 2 go routes? Like, that's what just drives me crazy. On the last play of the game, you can run one of those design plays. Right. You got as much time as you want.
But they did have big pass catchers one-on-one.
That was the theme of the game,
and
really.
Both of them got their hands.
They had chances. You're right. They had chances. You're right. And really, the game itself, they made those plays all game long. Yeah. I mean, the game, if you watch what Denver did on offense, it was throw it up to Cortland Sutton and throw it up to Tim Patrick one-on-one, and they abused Rhodes and Trey Waynes throughout the game. So they went back to that one more time.
To your point, you would think they had 2 or 3 plays that they loved in that situation. They were actually like intricate schemes where you can make a read as opposed to recess. Hey, you got one-on-one, I'm going to throw it at you.
Just drives me crazy. Oh, we worked in the office for 130 hours this week. You run straight. And you run straight. I've been grinding in here all week, honey. Honey, I've been grinding. I drew a straight line. It was tough. And that just drives me crazy.
Couldn't come home for dinner because...
Yes, because I was drawing straight lines.
Yeah.
All right, now I'm done. That was it.
With that accent, you should introduce the old man.
Hey, it's that guy from Kentucky. His name is Philip Martin Simms. The initials are PMS. Phil Simms, everybody.
Yay.
Hey, Dad.
Big Phil.
Hey, how are you guys?
He's good.
Yeah.
Man, oh man, that was Paul.
Yeah.
Paul.
Yeah.
My God, that was some rant.
Yeah.
I can't help it sometimes.
Well, it's
Dad,
okay.
you know.
You are right. Everybody always runs up and tries to spike the damn ball.
Right? Well, they're so greedy.
No, it's an epidemic because they practice it. And, you know, when we go up there, it really works good. Well, yeah, because practice is not the game.
Right.
You know, we could get this next playoff. Those things are always misinterpreted by coaches, by practice, by even practicing it, whatever. It's always going to be slower in the game. So that's one thing. Those passes you are talking about, I don't think either one of those guys, Patrick or Noah Fant, are really ready. In other words,
they didn't look
those
like
were easy decisions for the quarterback.
Right.
And he might have thrown it too hard, I don't know, whatever. But you throw him hard, it's back shoulder automatically. They got to turn their body and catch it literally with their right. Think about this. Their right shoulder has to be more up and left shoulder back.
Right.
So neither one of them did it. They probably have practiced it, but it sure didn't look like it was polished. And that's just a read between the quarterback and receiver. And when you work together with them, you know this throw, you know what you're going to do, you know you're going to make the right decision about 95% of the time on how to throw that fade, back shoulder, over the top of the head, whatever it is, low and outside. Everybody knows if you have experience together what that throw is going to be.
Yep, no doubt about it.
But I was impressed. Sutton, some of these guys, you know, I watched him. He just gets better and better. You know, he catches your eye.
He does.
Just during the day, I just looked at other receivers. You know, Galladay at Detroit. I said, I don't know about him, but I don't know when I stopped questioning that. Maybe last year or whatever. I said, okay, wrong again there, big baby, and things like that. The other thing I took this week out of just watching the Raiders, uninspired, all that stuff when they played, but the Raiders draft. Did we talk about that when you look at it?
Well, I don't know, but it was a phenomenal draft. You're right.
I mean, it is not. They got to be so excited about everybody.
Yeah.
And now probably just starting to get a little excited about Farrell, because he's probably been the slowest one to come along.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
So that's been. Well, that's been pretty cool to watch. Just that.
No,
just their draft picks, how good they've been, and then I forgot about what's his name? I should have brought it up. Mullen. I forgot that was
Trayvon
the Clemson
Mullen,
corner,
the second-round corner. Yes.
Yeah, it was very good.
Clemson. That's for sure. Phil,
All right,
we got to get you on some quarterbacks.
Yeah, let's do it. Go ahead.
So, Josh Allen. I know you're not a big stat guy, Phil, but no interceptions the last 5 games.
Well, yeah, I look at that stat, but I look at that stat always in the context. I watch the game and then decide.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's great.
What do you see when you watch him?
Well, more calm this year, no question. A better thrower underneath. It's gotten better as the year has gone along.
Yep.
His motion has definitely gotten shorter on the short passes, which is really important. So, because you can control the speed of the ball, and what else? Running with the ball, his ability to break tackles, to still not take big hits, and of course to make really special throws. Not just the one down the sideline that he threw to John Brown, but some other ones over the middle with 3 people around him. You can't see the ball on the film as it goes through there, and he gets completions. Drops his arm, threw a couple off his back foot. So I don't know. Am I saying enough good things about him?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah, and it's not like he plays on an offense that's what I call quarterback friendly.
Right.
I mean, it's just not. So and Matt was just in here, Christopher and Paul, my other son, and we were watching. I was watching tapes. He was watching. He goes, "Yeah, my son is what's the word for him, Christopher? Sarcastic or whatever.
Red ass. Well, he's a Simms, I guess is what we're saying.
Yeah, he just goes, all those people, hey, let's redraft those quarterbacks now. What are we going to hear? oh, we're going to hear about his completion percentage, and he just went into R mode. I was like, oh boy, I guess this is how I raise you kids, but that's the way it is. But yeah, now what do you say? Because Christopher, you can't, and Paul, you can't teach accuracy. Oh, that's you. Oh, okay, sure you can't. You're right. We can't teach the nose tackle how to put his left hand on the right shoulder of the center and push. That's just asking way too much. I mean, Josh Allen was put on earth to throw something. That was evident from the time I watched him in Wyoming. The tremendously awful offense in Wyoming, to horrific personnel.
Right.
And I remember saying this: if he threw as many screens as the other quarterbacks, his percentage would have been just about as high as theirs.
Right.
Let's go from somebody who hasn't thrown a pick to a trio of guys who threw 4 over the weekend. I want your thoughts on each one of these. It can be what they did in this last game or just big picture. Phillip Rivers with 4 interceptions last week. Is this close to the end of the line?
It was really bad. It was just bad. Here's why it's bad in many ways, because we saw it the week before. And, there I am watching the Denver Broncos play the Minnesota Vikings up in Minnesota. And I'm sitting there thinking, Brandon Allen, when he tries to throw it hard, it could hit row 2.
Right.
It gets away from him. That's okay. But you know what I saw? I just go, well, they're running play actions. He breaks the pocket. He scrambles.
Right.
He buys time to throw.
Right.
All these things, and it adds up. I go, I kind of like the way their offense looks now.
Yeah, right.
It just has a little flow to it.
Yes.
Much better than it did with Joe Flacco. And, so my answer there, Paul, is you're really stuck to one type of offense there with the Los Angeles Chargers. I think it's really questionable what happens. Just the fact that Anthony Lynn, what did he say? Well, we're not looking at a quarterback change right now or something like that. I don't know. They're going to play the season out. What can they do? How can they turn? What if they win their last 5? Does that make them stay with what they're doing? I don't know. My answer would be to all that is no. They have to find another way to try to win football games. And, look, you're the coach and general manager and all that. I don't know. You got to worry about your job, too.
Right. That's right.
How about Mason Rudolph?
It's really interesting, though. It's just interesting how the Kansas City game, it hit me the week before, but the Kansas City game really hit me.
Yes.
Just that game of all. So, and what would you say, Mason Rudolph?
Yeah. Mason Rudolph also threw 4.
Yeah.
Bench him? Keep him?
Just, I don't know what to say. He's not a top flight NFL thrower. We know that for sure.
Right.
Just doesn't have a strong arm. I even hear people on TV talking about it. And then, you don't have, I'm not overrating arm strength, but it's not average arm strength for the NFL. Throws it deep, nice. He is big. I like that. He can move around a little, but here's what happens. You talk about backup quarterbacks, and they can come in and, oh, man, it looks good. He's great. It's this. It's working because you got emotion. You got everybody a little more excited. There's something going on to try to help them. But once it just wears out after 3, 4, 5 weeks, it's over.
Right.
Then you realize, man, because, the plays add up on you. Your starter's not in there. Oh, we missed 2 plays this week. Oh, there's a couple more. And all of a sudden you lose a game or 2 that you shouldn't have lost. And that's why, that's why there's a big separation on most teams between the starter and the backup.
It's gotten lost in the shuffle a little bit with Mason Rudolph because of what happened at the end of the game. With him getting hit over the head. He played absolutely pitiful in that game. And I hope he's okay, and I certainly didn't and I give him, I have a sympathy card for what happened to him at the end of the game, but we're just talking about football here.
Yeah.
He was horrible. There's no other way to say it. He got Juju Smith-Schuster hurt by throwing it into a mosh pit of defenders. There was no cheap shot there by anybody in Cleveland. He threw it into quadruple coverage. He got the guy killed. I mean, the guy hit him just running straight up. He didn't even duck his head, Greedy Williams. It hit him with his face.
Right.
Because he was like, oh, my gosh, I'm going to intercept this. You just threw it into 4 of us. His motion's too over the top for me, Dad.
Well, it's really, really over the top.
Right.
He actually throws footballs, especially when they're crossing the field, over the middle, unless it's a lob one, the deep crosser lob, he's okay.
Right.
But when he tries to throw it in, cut that all, not to jump on him too much, but almost every one has one common denominator. It's either going to be high and behind.
Yeah, it's high and behind
because the ball almost tails to the right as he throws it.
Right.
And that's people, like I say, it's teach them whatever, but I just know that's a big thing that stops him from throwing the football with a little more power and definitely with more accuracy.
All right, Jameis Winston. This is one that's, I always find tough. He threw 4 interceptions again, too. I know we both think that his good is really good, but his bad is horrific. So what are your thoughts there?
Well, here, I'm thinking they'll give him another year. I've said that for a few weeks, but after this past week, again, I just went, oh, my gosh. I just, touchdown. They're back in the game again. Oh, interception.
Pick 6, right.
I haven't watched the game on tape yet.
Yeah.
But I did watch it, on TV and everything. And Jameis Winston is like the golfer who can hit it 350 down the middle, and he can birdie every hole. But also he's just crushed it for 9 holes, and then for the next 3 holes, he hits it out of bounds 5 times.
Right.
And I would say, if I really just watched him super close and watched him, that he misses the target by himself with time to throw and all that, minimum 3 to 4 times a game.
Right.
Now, we all know that doesn't sound like a lot. That's a lot.
Adds up.
For an NFL thrower, and to be 2 yards off target on a curl route is the difference between getting a completion and maybe a run and interceptions, and those plays have been happening to him. And he is definitely another one. It just, his hand, I'm not going to get into all that, but it gets away from him down the field, and it's either long, high, interception, and I see it almost every single week.
Yeah.
Let's bring this.
And it'll be interesting. This is the other thing that hit my mind from the both of you.
Yeah.
Is start looking at every team and then pencil in who you know is going to stay at quarterback and who could be floating out there.
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, that list is, I'll bet you 20 deep of quarterbacks that have played and started or whatever in this league that are going to be roaming around out there. There's going to be a lot of quarterback movement this offseason.
Which one do you like the best, Phil?
Position.
On that list in your mind, which one would you covet the most?
Well, I can't think of the list. I did it last week on Showtime. I named about 20 guys. But just take Washington. Just start with them for one. Case Keenum and Colt McCoy both could be there.
Yeah, Tannehill and Mariota in Tennessee. They could be there.
Mariota's going to be there. That's right. What's going to happen to Phillip Rivers? Is Eli Manning going to try to play another year somewhere? Will that happen? I mean, just keep going through it. It's everywhere. Joe Flacco, what's he going to do?
Yeah, Cam Newton,
Cam Newton, where's he going to end up? What's going to happen with Mitchell Trubisky? How about Andy Dalton? How's that just for a start, Paul, of guys that we're asking?
Alex Smith might be back in football next year.
Right?
Well, that would be interesting. Man, that would be a miracle from what all I've heard he's gone through. But, just think of Andy Dalton on the open market.
That's right.
Would you love to have Andy Dalton as your backup to protect your team?
Definitely.
Especially if you were going to draft a quarterback high that you wanted to sit behind somebody
maybe
for a
bridge
season?
quarterback, too.
Perfect.
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah. Well, the bridge quarterback really, that bridge is really short, as we all see now.
Yes, it is.
As soon as we lose a game, or the quarterback doesn't play the way we want, we got to get going.
Yeah, you're right.
So but it's really going to be an interesting offseason with the quarterbacks coming out.
Yeah,
There's
Teddy Bridgewater. We didn't say him. I mean, he's in that.
Teddy Bridgewater's going to be out there. There you go. Yeah.
Right.
This is
so I just sat down for a few minutes and did this one day, and I just wrote it down. Somebody goes, "God, that's unbelievable." I go, "Yeah." It's going to be an interesting offseason for the NFL and the quarterback position.
Yeah. Let's bring this to a close here, this way here, Phil. Which 4-interception quarterback from last week, we've hit 3 of the 4, would you want as your starting quarterback next year? Rivers, Rudolph, Jameis Winston, or Kyle Allen?
Jameis Winston.
Yeah. Just based off of what?
Just that I think I can fix him a little. He just makes so many big plays. He is mobile. He's big. He's got experience. And let's help him out a little more. Let's don't ask him to throw the ball, just rip it in there all the time. And, Bruce Arians has had great success in the NFL. I saw him with Andrew Luck and what he's done through all of his quarterbacks or whatever. And it is really down the field throwing. And, that's great if we do some of it off of play action and not just dropping back, stand in there, and let it go.
Right.
And unless I'll just stop at this.
Yeah.
Jameis Winston is one of those guys, if you tweak him just a little, what do you get? Okay? Now, we've seen Lamar Jackson. He tweaked it just a little bit. A lot better this year.
Right.
You got to admit
Definitely.
that he's throwing the ball much better this year, controlling the football. And, he loves to drop his arm down and throw it sidearm a little that way and underneath or whatever, because that makes him – that's when he really feels good. Because
what did he tweak? What did he tweak, Phil, that you see?
Which who? With
Jackson?
Lamar?
Yeah, because he's certainly better.
He's definitely moving his upper body more and just really relaxing, not falling forward when he throws the football. But his arm is not, too over the top either. It was way over the top at times last year.
Yeah, he got too
That's
army.
why he missed him.
He's got such a flexible arm. Sometimes he's so gifted that way. It's like to Dad's golf reference. It was like he was reaching back for 350 every time, and you're just like 320 down the middle is fine.
Good,
yeah, that's great. And even like you saw. When he threw the post, I forgot who caught it in the end zone. Was it Andrews? Probably Andrews. Somebody else I thought caught one. But even that throw, he just kind of turned. He went around the ball a little more than he usually does. And it wasn't like a perfect spiral, but it was dead on target. That was what was important. And, hey, look, we keep talking about this running, and everybody tells me this and that. And they say, well, this is going to change. Yeah, okay, you let me know when the next Lamar Jackson comes along, would you?
Right.
Okay, and then that.
Yeah, that's a good point. You're right.
And he's going to slowly morph into a quarterback that stands in there more as time goes along.
Yes, right.
Look at Lamar Jackson in college running the football, and then look at him now.
Yeah.
And what will you see, son?
As far as running the football?
Yeah. I mean, the first thing you're going to notice from Louisville to now, it looks like he's a man. And back then, he was just a young guy still growing.
I got you. You're right. That is a good point because
his body's already getting bigger.
It is. Muscles are popping out. His damn neck is the thickest neck in the quarterback history.
Him and Dak Prescott. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever neck exercises they're doing, I don't know. I'd do. If I was a middle linebacker, I would do them.
Yeah.
But it's you're going to slowly pull back, and he's learning. He stays in the pocket. He doesn't run really until you make him.
Right.
So all those things are good, but that speed will slowly go away from you because one time you do get bigger and you don't train like you did in college.
Right.
Now, you both remember college.
Yeah, I was running every day. Right.
Mm-hmm. You don't. Now, their off-season comes, well, I got to rest, and I'm going to rest for 10 weeks.
It's a
and then
mistake
I'm gonna do
everybody
work.
makes.
Yeah. Then we got 6 weeks off, after think, I got to rest up. And, it's not like when you're in college when it was 12 months a year you were training.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So
you the man, Dad.
Thoughts.
You the man. No, that was good shit, man. Way to go.
Well done.
Way to contribute to the podcast. Way to go, dude.
Well, I thought maybe I was contributing some way because I don't know where you got Paul.
Yeah.
When he curses, make him give you $10, and then that'll pay for your mortgage every year. You'll be fine.
We can have a swear jar.
All right, maybe we'll do that.
Get a swear jar. I like that.
All right.
That's coming next week.
But put some pressure on yourself, son. Let's go.
All right, Dad. I'll see you,
man.
All
right, see you guys.
See you, Phil.
Be good.
All right. Swear jar.
All right, that's not happening. Okay, it's not happening. All right, here we go. I got a cool thing that I got to talk about, and I've been doing this lately, and I've really been enjoying it. Campbell's Chunky Chats, okay? Campbell's soup, you know all about it. Delicious soups. I'm a soup guy, but now I want to take a quick moment to tell you about something I'm doing with Campbell's Chunky Soup. Throughout the rest of the season, I'll be sitting down with former NFL players as we discuss the many ways that football is family. In the latest episode, I interviewed the dual threat legend, running back Matt Forte. Take a quick listen here. When did you know, okay, I'm damn good at this sport?
First year.
First year?
Actually,
and it never really...
You know what?
Yeah.
First practice.
I'll
tell you a story. So, first practice, I come out. Yeah. And we line up to do a tackling drill. You got the dummies and the cones. And, the coach blows the whistle. And I got the ball. And there's a kid. His name was, I still remember his name, Jarrell. And Jarrell had played at 6, like I wanted to.
Right.
So he had a year under his belt. Big kid. And so I'm sitting there. I got the ball. They blow the whistle. I run up all sky high. Smack. I get smacked. I'm on my back. And my dad comes over. I got a little tear coming down my eye. Right. He looks at me. And my dad, he played, college. He knows what football about. He looks down at me and goes, well, son, That's football. And I'm like, oh, he has no sympathy for me or anything.
No.
So in that moment, I get up and I was like, I want to go again.
Awesome. So true.
Yeah, right? And then, I mean, he gets onto it. And it wasn't long after that where he started to take over, okay, Matt Forte. Right. But Matt Forte really kind of ahead of his time as far as that running back, receiving threat out of the backfield. Really one of the first of his kind, really. But to hear that whole thing, head to NBC Sports YouTube. On that page, you'll see all those interviews. I've done that. You know, my dad, I did him as the first one. Just did one with Santana Moss, right? The University of Miami legend and Washington Redskin legend. Did one with my ex-teammate, Rondé Barber. So all these will be coming out. And really, the big thing is, you know, Campbell's is doing a great thing here about football and family. All of our families were so important and integral in what we did on the football field. I know for you, for me, I wouldn't be who I am if it weren't for my family and the support my mom and dad gave me and the things they taught me along the way. So that's where we're trying to dive into those things. And, you know, again, football players, I don't feel like enough people know football players. We just look at them, hey, that's number 20 and the face mask, and nobody knows what makes like. It's different than NBA and basketball where everybody gets to see their face and we know people. And I take great pride in, like, let's get the world to know some of these football players. They're not just on your fantasy roster. They're not just pieces of meat that go out there and crush people and oh, I'm a tough meathead football player. No, they're humans, and there's usually great stories behind it, and that's where I really thank Campbell's for letting me kind of have this little pedestal to talk to these guys on our Campbell's Chunky Chats. So it works good.
And it's nice to get guys when they're not too far removed from the game. Yeah. But they're away from just speaking in politically correct.
Yeah, not worried about, they can just let it go. They're not worried about hurting my teammate or my coach.
To know them.
Exactly.
You're allowed because they don't have that shield up.
No doubt.
Matt Forte talking about, you know, oh, that's football?
Yeah,
you know, get knocked around.
Right.
Oh, do I like this? Yeah, I do. Let's do it again. And everybody has a moment like that.
Definitely.
Very cool.
Yep.
All right, back to what the heck happened.
Oh, but you already chickened out. Oh,
Phil's in
Phil. Him. Don't worry about him.
Say that about your dad?
Who the who cares about him?
All right, what the happened? Back to it on the Zeke Elliott game-clinching touchdown catch.
Yes.
Great game, Cowboys-Lions.
Yes.
But what happened on that game-winning play?
Well, game-winning play, and, you know, oddly enough, we talked about Bill Belichick, all-out blitzing in big moments, right? Well, this was a big moment, all right? It's third down. Dak Prescott's got the ball. He's in the shotgun, and here it comes, basically. It's not an all-out. It is. I'm getting this. It's an all-out blitz. They're coming. They're going to try to force the hand of Dallas, and not let him score a touchdown. Maybe get a sack. Hold them to a field goal, hopefully get the sack and make the field goal longer, put the pressure on them that way. This is in the DNA of a lot of defensive coordinators, and especially a Matt Patricia, who, like Bill Belichick, plays man-to-man a lot, plays too much man-to-man, in my opinion, just to say that right off the bat, because he doesn't have Bill Belichick's secondary. He doesn't have the talent there. So some of those guys, I just think it's a little unrealistic at times to be playing man-to-man. But, the big thing is, and I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure this was the first screenplay Dallas threw the whole game. So I don't know. I wasn't charting it, so I don't know.
Running back through it.
But either way, if there was another screen, maybe it was one.
It wasn't like watching the Patriots where it was like 9 or 10.
No, it certainly wasn't a theme of the game where I was going, the screens, right? Like, I don't remember it, and I could be wrong. But either way, it was a very limited amount. But really a great call in the perfect moment against the perfect defense. And this is, again, where film study comes into play, and Kellen Moore probably had a good beat. And, in these situations, throughout watching the first 10 weeks of the year, Patricia likes to dial it up here. And he basically calls, the exact right play here, to where he's got 3 receivers to the left, a receiver to the right, and here they come. They're going to bring the all-out blitz. They're all coming. And, what happens is Prescott's in the shotgun, Zeke Elliott's to his right, and nobody in the front recognizes the screen because they're all going, okay, coach called them blitz, we're going to go get them, and they fly up. So nobody really has a feel for it. And basically what happens is Zeke Elliott kind of acts like he's in a block and then floats out to the right side.
What a play by him.
What a play by him. The beauty of the play was the catch, right? Yes, because Dak did not throw a real good ball to him. Threw a low, hard, and outside ball, right?
And we talked last week about, that combination or potential combination was at the heart of one of the main plays we talked about, Cowboys Vikings. He tried to hit him, He tried to hit Zeke on the out route.
Right.
He was covered by Kendricks. So now it comes back. It wasn't a tough route. But I think for a running back to go from that kind of fingertip catch with that kind of balance, from catch and being off balance to when he was at full speed was like that.
Yes.
It was as incredible of a little, tiny little part of a play as a running back had all week.
Well, I mean, it is where he is a gifted pass catcher. He is. Now, to last week, it's not necessarily a gifted route runner like we want.
Not at all.
But I get you.
Yeah.
You're right. He's got sweet hands. He catches the ball with ease.
And switched it
and
to
the
one hand, the other.
Right.
And
to keep his hands, to keep his hand down. You're right. Exactly right. He is special that way, and he's pliable and athletic. So they had Jason Witten to the right, 3 receivers to the left. And because they're in cover 0, see, the beauty of these kind of plays here is, when nobody in the front kind of sniffs out the blitz itself, everybody's in man-to-man coverage downfield, so their back's turned. So Dak Prescott, he's kind of fading away, holding the ball to let the receivers get down the field and let the screen develop. And, nobody's paying attention because they're locked onto their man. And so that's where the beauty of the play is, let alone Travis Frederick, Zach Martin, they get out. Now, the one guy that's there to be covering Zeke Elliott is, I want to get his name right, 44, Reeves Mabin, right? He's in a tough spot here because he is following Zeke Elliott out. He's about 2 to 3 yards off the line of scrimmage, and he's there. But the problem is that Zach Martin, the right guard, and Frederick, the center, get out so clean that when the ball's thrown to Zeke and he tries to come down to make the play, they're already there to form a little wall around Zeke. And Zach Martin gets a hat on Reeves Mabin, and he has no chance to make the play. Plus, you said the great catch where Zeke then spins outside and, the Red Sea parts. There's no one there. All that really has to happen after that is that Jason Witten, who was the receiver to that side, just has to make sure he gets a piece of the guy that's now recognizing, oh, gosh, Zeke Elliott caught a screen, let me do it. He does a great job of kind of making a block, pushing the guy out of the way, and and Zeke kind of cuts inside and gets a very easy touchdown, which really broke the backs of the Detroit Lions and put them in a tough spot with Jeff Driscoll at quarterback and everything like that. The chances of them winning that type of game were not good.
I asked you for a letter grade on Carson Wentz a little while ago.
Right.
What grade would you give to Dak Prescott?
He was phenomenal in this game.
Right?
I mean, yeah, it's A+.
Which part of his game do you like the best?
I think the big thing I would take away really more than anything, it's his team, it's his offense. They are not playing run-first football anymore. They are put Dak back there, either it's play action, shotgun, and I think you and I will see the same thing here. I don't know, I haven't talked to you about it. They don't give him a lot of slam dunk completions.
No.
They're not throwing screens, and he's not throwing balls behind the line of scrimmage or 3 yards passes. Every ball is 10, 20, 15, 20, 10, 20. Deep shot downfield.
Yeah.
I mean, again, a little like we talked with Kirk Cousins, the degree of difficulty in throws is pretty high, right?
It's high.
Yes.
Yeah. You know it when you're watching it. If someone asks you, if someone walked in the room and say, Dak's numbers are pretty good, what's he doing?
Yeah.
You wouldn't say, he hit a bunch of screens, he's checking it down a bunch. He is pounding the ball into tight windows.
Yes,
in the intermediate part of the field, the middle, and to the sidelines, as well as any quarterback.
I agree.
And I try and hold back on. I have so many numbers written down about what I see, what I check, and I keep most of them to myself. But his yards per completion is second only to Patrick Mahomes.
I would think that.
And he's up near 70%.
Yeah.
I mean, what he's doing, this one game, I'm like, wow. That was really good. I felt this way about him a number of times this season. You go back and line it up, and there aren't a lot of quarterbacks playing better than him right now.
No, I agree. He is. I think the last few weeks entered the rarefied air of
Should he be in this MVP conversation?
I think that's very fair. I'm not going to put him up there with Russell Wilson or Lamar Jackson yet. I'm not. But I think he's in that next group down where we might be able to say him, Kirk Cousins are in that conversation. I don't know. Right now, it might be those two.
Right.
Especially with kind of Christian McCaffrey and the Carolina Panthers not doing as well as of late. He's kind of in the next group down past that now.
Yeah.
But I think, and especially if they can go on a run here late, he deserves to be it because they are playing through him. Again, I'm not all that impressed with Zeke Elliott right now.
Well, and Kellen Moore is seeing the exact same, and why wouldn't he? Seeing the exact same way you are.
Yeah.
I mean, the number of time he's dropping back and making difficult throws is up in the 30s.
It is.
And Zeke is touching it in the 20s, in the run and pass, so it's a nice balance. But I always thought this offense was about 21.
I know.
And this year, it's much more about the quarterback.
It is. It's about number 4 and cha-ching. I mean, that's all you can say because he's going to get paid big-time money. He is. He's going to, with the way he's played and the way he's, if he continues to do what we've seen the last 2 weeks and all that, yeah, he's going to get something Russell Wilson-ish type money, and I'm not going to have any problem with that.
One thing that he's doing that I noticed about him more than some other quarterbacks is we always praise the offensive line.
Right.
And they do have a good offensive line.
Yes, they do, yeah.
But with that extra second to second and a half that he gets, when number one's not open, but he's allowed to hang in there, he doesn't get sped up and flustered.
No, he doesn't.
When you know as a quarterback, I probably shouldn't be holding it this long. Guys are going to be coming after me. And some very veteran quarterbacks will look a little flustered with that extra second.
Agreed.
He looks very comfortable with the extra time he gets and finds whoever should be open, whoever is open.
100%.
It's a subtle thing.
And he's not going from 1 to, let me sit there and just find a short completion now, like the check down. It's like, oh, wait, I'm going for the other, big, I'm going to try to gash you a number 2 read.
Yes.
Which is like, okay, I looked for the deep crosser. He wasn't open. Now I'm going to look for the deep in cut on the other side to see if I can hammer that in there.
His body language and his vision doesn't get sped up with the extra time that his offensive line gets him. I think it's a special thing.
I think it is a special thing. I think it goes to a thing that I say a lot. I actually just talked about this in the radio, and I'm glad you're even going here with it because I say this a lot. I don't know if you've heard me say it, but size is a skill. And his size and strength and power as a man, I think allows him to stand in there and go, I don't give a shit if you hit me defense end. I can take it. I'm as big as you. I'm 245. I'm 250.
At least.
Yeah.
It's one of those things that TV doesn't do it justice.
No, it does not.
I was covering a game of his in San Francisco a couple years ago, and I wanted to interview him. So I'm walking behind him the whole time after the game.
Right.
And I was like, this is the biggest quarterback in the league.
Yeah.
Now, Cam Newton is bigger.
Yes, right.
Just in terms of total size.
It's thick. It's ass and legs. He wins the ass and legs competition for quarterbacks. But
every single time.
I am with you. A little concerned with Dallas' defense still. I don't think they're as dominant as I was like. The run game does bother me. I really will say it. They got Tony Pollard involved a little bit more in the run game and some of those cheap shuffle passes where he goes on a speed sweep, but it gets counted as a pass, right? And he does bring some juice to that offense a little bit.
Sure does.
I don't know what to say about Zeke, man. I mean, he's good, but he's not great to me right now. Maybe I'm wrong, man. You can tell me.
If you're evaluating him as the number one part of that offense, he slipped a little bit.
Definitely.
If you're evaluating him as a supplement to Dak Prescott,
it's not as jarring.
Good.
Yeah, I get you. Yeah. You're exactly right about that. And we'll see where Dallas goes here. I mean, Dallas, of course, has got the New England Patriots. They can give New England some issues. The big thing to me with Dallas, as long as Michael Gallup is healthy on the outside, and then you got, of course, Amari Cooper and Randall Cobb work in the middle, man, that's a tough 3 with what you're saying. Good pass protection, a quarterback who is aggressive, decisive, and fearless in the pocket. That's dangerous. And like we talk about with any good offense, a good offense makes you defend every square inch of the field, and Dallas does that through staying somewhat patient for the run game, and then when they drop back to pass, I don't care if you're the cover 3 corner and you're 30 yards down the field, they will throw it 50 yards downfield over your head if you're not ready, and that's, to me, always a strength of a great offense.
Let's make a stop in the NFC South. And focus on Drew Brees and Sean Payton. One of the plays that they put together for a touchdown came in the first quarter. Gerald home at Tampa, 16-yard touchdown to Michael Thomas. If you appreciate this kind of thing, was a really cool scheme, a cool way to get him open. So what happened on that touchdown?
Yeah, well, it's tight end to the left, 3 receivers to the right, right?
Yep.
And the big thing is, more than anything, they got Michael Thomas in the slot, right? So he's there, and I'm going to pull this play up just so I have it, just so we can look at it together. I think I might have passed it regardless. Let me see where I can get to it. Hold on.
I've got it written down. As you're finding it,
go ahead.
You're right. It was Brees in a shotgun. He had Camaro behind him. The tight end to the left was basically attached.
Right.
And then to the right, he had 3 wide receivers.
Yep.
And he had Thomas was the inside guy. And the 2 outside guys ran basically quick slants.
Yep.
And he ran a little hesitation wheel route in behind them.
Exactly.
And the cool thing they did is they kept in the tight end and the running back to block. So they blocked with 7. I'm paying attention to you. They're helping the quarterback.
Helping the quarterback.
Leave guys in.
Right.
So they only released 3, and those 3 did the job.
And this is the beauty of Sean Payton, Drew Brees, the offense in general. They don't waste plays. I would think this was probably 2 plays called in the huddle. And they had this for, hey, we're playing Todd Bowles and he likes to blitz. And if you see this look, Drew, point to your helmet and tell everybody check, 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 or can, or kill, 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 which means kill the first play I called in the huddle.
Right.
They might have had a run play. Maybe they had a play where all 5 eligibles get out, right? Do something like that. But they see from the alignment like, oh, gosh, it's blitz all the way. And these type of plays, in my opinion, and just knowing this offense a little bit, because John Gruden and Sean Payton have a very similar offense, it's for one play and one player only. It's for this right here. And those two guys you're talking about on the outside of Michael Thomas, they're not even really running routes.
Oh, no.
It's like slants or sloppy post routes to basically just get in the way of the guy that's covering Michael Thomas man-to-man. They're bringing 6 blitzers. There is a free safety in the middle of the field, okay?
And what did he do?
Well, I know his job is to protect the middle, so he's worried about the post, or even if Michael Thomas runs an inside release cross the field post, he needs to be there for that.
I was wondering also, maybe he was worried about Kamara behind him.
He could be.
Maybe he was worried about the tight end, and that little bit of hesitation left him nowhere that he needed to be when Drew found Thomas.
Definitely. Either way, he didn't get there. And here's the play in general. Now, the beauty of the play, like you set it up perfectly, and Michael Thomas has patience off the line of scrimmage. See how he kind of works it a little bit, and he even kind of acts like he's going to go inside just for a second so the 2 receivers outside of him can get up the field, because he knows, the little more I buy time, the more they'll get in the way of the guy that's covering me. And, the safety, his bright lights look like he's looking for something over there. But either way, with this route basically being, let's say, a wheel route or, an inside slot fade with a really wide departure, the corner that's covering him has no chance, because Cameron Meredith does a good job of just, slightly brushing him as he's trying to run by him. And now Michael Thomas has 6-7 yards of separation. Drew Brees throws a safe ball, like basically right at his head, and it's an easy walk-in touchdown.
It's also very well designed, because if you can picture those 2 quick slants, oftentimes the inside guy will just run a little flat route underneath.
Yes, right.
And he not only has a nice little hesitation to set up the pick.
Yes.
The first couple steps could lead you to believe that he was going out to the flat just to do that little harmless route that they will often do in that combination. So it was also well set up, knowing that the defense might bite on this, because he will often go that way.
That's where they're amazing, and that's where Sean Payton's amazing, and then, of course, Drew Brees being able to orchestrate the offense at the line of scrimmage and always get into the right play, all that. New Orleans does not waste plays. And, hey, this game was 6-0. They had 2 long first drives of the game where they really chewed up clock. Tampa did a good job of holding them to field goals. Then it became the Jameis Winston threw the perfect pass to O.J. Howard. This interception was not his fault.
Oh, my gosh.
And O.J. Howard hits him right in the chest and somehow ends up on his back, and it gets intercepted. And then this play happened, and it was pretty much like, okay, now it's 13-0, and you're in deep crap, Tampa. And then, not to say it was game over, but it put Tampa way behind the 8 ball, and to have to struggle to come back this way. New Orleans ran the ball well. They had a lot of great short design pass plays. Drew was efficient. Again, I worry about them a little because they can't push the ball down the field. I want to go. I really wanted to go Tampa. Did you watch the film from last week? Did you watch the Saints game? Did you see them play last week? Like, that's where I get frustrated with defensive coaches sometimes and go, wait, you saw a team have a game plan that took away the stuff that New Orleans likes to do, and you just said, no, we like to play this way. Like, I just don't understand that.
Should have copied it.
You copy it to a degree, right? Maybe within your own style and flow of your defense. But yes, copy the same theme. Don't just go, this is what we do. And like, come on. Well, you know what you do? You got up 27 points and you got torched and you died a slow death. That's the other thing. They have a high-powered offense in themselves. And, the first half, there's 30 minutes in the first half. They had the ball for 21 minutes and change. The game in general, they had the ball for 37 minutes out of the 60 minutes. So there's Jameis Winston and Mike Evans and all them, who they have a lot of money and assets to. They're sitting by the Gatorade bottle, right? So they can't even do anything. That's the beauty of the Saints. The Saints can overpower you. Sean Payton finds a lot of high percentage short passes. Drew Brees is a good decision maker. He's accurate that way. And when they get you in this kind of game, you're for lack of a better phrase. That's all there is to say it.
And it also played to the weaknesses of Jameis Winston. Like, you and your dad talked about how
now they have to throw.
They have to just drop back and chuck it downfield,
and he can't help it. Right,
have the double bogey like your dad talked about.
Exactly, that's where it gets scary. Now,
for the last
can I just say one thing with this though, real quick?
Yeah.
People are trying to say Michael Thomas MVP conversation.
Okay.
Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it. Now, first of all, Michael Thomas is one of the 5 best receivers in football. I have no problem saying that. Now, people get mad at me because I say that. And
one of the 5, you mean, could be second, could be fifth?
Well, whatever. I don't care. For me, he'd be probably like 4 or 5. Okay. All right? Yeah. But either way, I'm putting him in the top 5, which in any other thing in the world, people would be going, man, he's top 5 in the world at what he does. But with me, it's how dare you say he's not the number 1? First of all, no. Just because you lead the league in receptions doesn't mean you automatically get number 1. I mean, are we going to say this? So all the years Matthew Stafford led the year, the league in passing yards? Right. Is he the number 1 quarterback that year? Is that how we're going by this? So, damn, we need to rearrange everything we're thinking.
Would you have it 1 and 2?
Well, I just think like there's more dangerous people. I would put Mike Evans in front of him. I would put Tyreek Hill still in front of him. You know, I would really put Odell Beckham Jr. in front of him. We're taking team stuff sometimes and just pinning it to a player. Yeah. Listen, again, I'm not trying to be a jerk. He plays a huge part for this offense. But I'm not going to sit here and go, whoa, the offensive coordinator designed to play through formation and great game planning for you to run a shallow cross, and you're wide open now, and you did nothing really, and you got to run down the sideline for 41 yards, and I'm going to go, oh my gosh, nobody in football could have done that. Yeah. Or nobody could have caught the inside slant route that your coach got in the perfect position. First off, all you have to do to watch the Saints to know that teams don't think he's the number 1 or 2 receiver in football is how they cover him. Nobody doubles Michael Thomas.
Why do you think that is?
Because he's good, but they always feel like our guy is okay to cover him. It's just, will you get screwed by the formations that's by Sean Payton? If he ever gets doubled, it's more because the teams go, in this situation, Sean Payton's going to find some crazy way to throw to this freaking guy, so let's double him. Because I don't know what he's going to do or where he's going to line up, but let's just try to get 2 on him. They're not like, we got to double him because we can't cover him. He's going to run by us or just totally beat us off the line of scrimmage to where we have no chance. He's a really awesome player, but I think what's happening right now is they're 8-2, and people, these are what I call stat readers. The game is over, and they go, the Saints won. He had 100 yards receiving. He's an MVP. Hey, because he's the only one statistically that can make sense.
He had some garbage yards last week when their offense did nothing, right?
He had 50-something yards in the last drive of the game when the competitive part of the game was over, along with Drew Brees, who had 80 yards during that time. So, again, I'm not trying to, sit here and I'm a guy that likes to keep it real, and I hate bad narratives. And just because they're one of the better teams in football doesn't mean they have to have an MVP candidate. They don't. I'm sorry.
Sounds like you'd vote for Sean Payton as their MVP.
Exactly. Yeah. So who's the MVP of the 49ers then? Because they're the number 1 team in football. Right. Who's the MVP of the New England Patriots? Because why don't they get a candidate for induction then? Yeah. But because it's a receiver and it's sexy and we can see numbers that are towards the top of the league, everyone just jumps on a narrative. Absolutely not. I refuse to be that guy that's going to do that. I'm sorry. I'm just telling you the truth of what I see. He's still a really great player, but to say he's an MVP of football, to me, is just not real.
Especially in a year where there's so many quarterbacks
that are doing special things, right? And again, I know everyone thinks I'm a Saint hater, and I'm not.
You getting a lot of Saint hate?
I get a lot of Saint hate because I say Drew Brees is the 10th best quarterback in football and those things, and people just don't want to hear that. And again, I really respect the Saints. I had them going to the Super Bowl last year. I respect their physicality. They are a run-first football team. They are a dink-and-dunk pass scheme, and they beat your ass on the defensive side of the ball, and that is because of Sean Payton. And Sean Payton's an amazing coach, and I'm not trying to take away things from those guys either. The players are really good. Their offensive line is one of the top in football. Their defensive line is one of the top in football. But I'm just trying to say, just because he's leading the league in catches doesn't mean you're the best MVP candidate in football, okay? You're not when you're, I can also sit here and go, okay, yes, he's got 94 catches, okay? And it's like the next guy next to him, Mike Evans, has 36 less and only, 150 yards less. He's averaging 12.1 yards per reception. And it's good, but I would also say Amari Cooper would be a better receiver to me. So there you go. I had to say that. Now let's go. Okay. Here we go. Notre Dame.
Exhale. Notre Dame. We'll be there again one more time.
Because Twitter just gets on me when I talk about that crowd. It drives me crazy. The Holy War.
Yes.
The Holy War.
Saturday, South.
Yep. I know. We're going to be there.
Yes,
I'm looking forward to
yeah.
it. This is where Boston College superfans will descend on South Bend. And the most famous BC alumnus is our own Doug Flutie, the legend, who will soon be celebrating the 35th anniversary of one of the greatest plays in college football history.
Yeah. The play.
Yes.
Here's your ball game, folks, as Flutie takes the snap. He drops straight back. Uncorks a deep one for the end zone. Balin is down there. He did it! He did it! Flutie did it!
Best.
Best. Legend
Good.
play. He just reenacted the play a few weeks ago at Boston College in their last home game of the year against Florida State. But either way, it's BC, Notre Dame, number 16 Notre Dame. Okay, and you can see this entire feature on the Hail Flutie during the game, Saturday, 2:30 Eastern on NBC. I'll be there freezing my butt on the sidelines while Paul is warm and cozy up in a booth next to my ex-teammate Ryan Harris, the offensive lineman. Also, we're doing a simulcast this week on NBC Sports Network. The Notre Dame fan feed with limited commercial interruptions, featuring a couple random dudes named Paul Burmeister and Ahmed Fareed. So that'll be really cool for fans that are true Notre Dame fans that want to hear a Homer broadcast. They'll get to hear that, and you guys can root for Notre Dame and just say, the hell with Boston College.
It won't be totally
I know
Homer.
it won't be, but you should be a little Homer. I get that.
Of course, it's the Notre Dame call, but
All right.
it'll be a lot of fun.
And then we do have the BC Homer broadcast will be, they will be doing something as well. And Pete Dimalitolitis is a BC guy.
Is he a BC guy?
Yeah, so he's going to be listening to that crap on that side. But, you know.
Is there really going to be a BC?
There is. There is a BC Homer thing, too. Oh, there's not? He's totally joking with me, and I didn't. Pete, you're such a Dimalitolitis. What an idiot you are. Thank you for leading me down that road. One thing with the Kansas City Chiefs, if everybody wants to know what happened in the first half and the second half, they called shorter pass plays. All right, that was the biggest thing. They got to stop trying to throw the ball down the field 50 yards every play. They need an inventory of screens and short passes galore when they play teams like the Chargers who play deep zone coverages to then make those teams come up. And that was the big thing I took away from the second half. Yes, was the first half, was there moments where Mahomes was a little over-aggressive? Definitely, I get all that. Yes, he was. But I really think the play calling in the second half was three-step drops. They're dropping deep. They're only rushing 4. They're 7 in coverage. Let's try to just get 5 and 6 yard completions instead of going 1st and 10, 20 yards down the field. 2nd and 10, 40 yards down the field. And I just think that's one thing Kansas City has to do. And now to another new segment.
Yes.
Oh my gosh.
You set it up so well.
Pete Dimalitolitis is just letting us down.
No Bill O'Reilly?
No Bill O'Reilly. No f***ing jerk Bill O'Reilly. He's only allowed on this podcast when I can say that.
Laugh at it. Yeah.
Yes, I don't like Bill O'Reilly.
Pains us both.
At all. I can't stand him. But when he does say we'll do it live,
it's funny.
It is funny.
It's funny.
But it's the only thing that's funny.
Because he's such a jerk.
He's a jerk. I can't stand him. Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
I have the question. All right, there it is. Jared Goff's deep ball to Cooper Kupp. Everyone knew it was going to Kupp, but it still ended up with him wide open. Feel free to use commas when you tweet if you would like. Right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, don't tell me. I'm horrible.
We are watching it for the first time. Or Chris is watching it for the first time.
Let me get there. Yeah, let me get there. I'll get there here in a second.
Second quarter, 3:51 left. Rams had 3rd down and 5.
Second quarter.
On their own 49-yard line.
Here he is. I got it. I believe it right here. Here we go. Okay.
So tell us what happened as you watch it.
Okay, so it's shotgun. Tight end to the right, receiver to the right, only about 2 yards outside of the tight end. He's in the shotgun. As I mentioned, Mac Brown, the tailback, is right to his left. Cooper Kupp is in the slot to his left, and he has a receiver out to his left, too, who I can't tell who it is. But the point is, we're talking about Cooper Kupp here, who's in the slot. Now, the great thing is, yes, this is a play where Right. We're going to get to that. This is 3rd and 5, and when you play the Rams, traditionally teams go, ooh, they try to throw a 6 or an 8 or a 10-yard pass to Cooper Kupp to get the first down and keep the chains moving. Well, on this play, this to me is probably film study again by Sean McVay, and probably a little bit of self-scouting to go, I run 6 and 7 and 8-yard routes a lot with my slot receivers on 3rd and 5 and 6 and that just to get the first down.
Right.
Chicago has Buster Screen covering him man-to-man, and they are trying to double him here. They're trying to double him. They're trying to bracket him in and out, right?
Because the safety came down from about 10 yards
Eddie
off the
Jackson
ball.
comes down from inside the ball and sets up to take away anything he does to break inside, right? He is breaking down going, ooh, if he runs one of these option routes where he can go sit down, break out, or go inside, we're going to have him bracketed, and he can't do it.
I understand that. That makes sense.
Right.
It was a poor decision because Kupp went deep.
Well, this is what he's told to do, though. He's being told to do this. He's not. This is total like.
That part of it makes sense.
Right.
What's the corner?
Buster Screen.
What's he doing?
Well, because he's playing for. I'm betting that the numbers bear out that they run this a ton, and they're playing. But we would call this zebra option in the West Coast offense. Sean McVay was down there with me and John Gruden in his early years of learning football, and this is a staple to our offense, to let your smart receiver read the coverage along with the quarterback, and you guys make the right play and decision based on that coverage. And I would bet that the number said that, oh, man, in these situations, he does this a lot, and he'll break out or in or sit either way, and we'll collapse or we won't let them break, and either way, we're going to try to knock the ball down, and they won't be able to get the first down.
It's the only way to explain with two guys guarding you.
Yes.
And
they both get caught
end up
flat-footed.
5 yards behind you.
They both get caught flat-footed because he gets to about the 5 or 6 yard mark. You're right. And now Buster Screen jumps outside of him because he's going, I got him if he goes outside. Yeah. And Eddie Jackson's going, I got him if he goes inside.
Because the last thing he's going to do is run by you.
Is the last thing he's going to do. Coach told us they don't run go routes a lot from this. And bam, he runs a go route, and they're both like, oh, he's going straight. And Jared Goff throws a really good ball, and he gets, thank God, fumbles the ball out at the 1 yard line. Remember, this was almost a touchback. Right. But that is really what happened there. And to our guy, who was that just asked that question on Twitter?
Let's see.
Russ Johnson. Russ Johnson, yeah. really good question by you. And this is not only where self-scouting helped screw over the scouting.
Right.
And this is what it did, because I bet you Sean McVay and their numbers, they broke it down and said, man, we do this a lot. We need to change it up a little bit to get people off our back.
We've seen a lot of this year where the slot receiver runs the kind of fade
the
go
slot
route.
Fades, yeah.
It's kind of new.
It is new, and it's a great play because you have a lot of room. As far as if you want to throw a back shoulder ball, you got a lot of room to your outside.
And a lot of defenses it's still new enough where they're not expecting it.
It is. And the slot guy is, more times you're not expecting a guy to go inside or outside.
Yeah.
So he's not expecting always the vertical element from that kind of guy. And Cooper Kupp is a master of those option routes. Either way, they got him. That was a big play. Good throw by Jared Goff. And that's that.
I think that's it.
Woo, baby.
I don't get to see you again till
see you Friday. Yeah, see you in the coaches meeting Friday. Yeah, yes. You the man. Hope everybody enjoyed the podcast. Thanks to Big Phil. Again, like I said, subscribe, rate, and review. Check out my Campbell's Chunky Chats with some of the guys I've talked to. Most recently, Matt Forte, which was really awesome. Thanks to him. Thursday, we'll do the Week 12's Picks podcast with Florio. I had a good week picking games. I didn't have a good week gambling. I think Florio did have a good week on gambling. Him. Either way, we're out. Peace. Be good, everybody.
See ya. Almost left you hanging.
That's all right. Yo, what's up? Come on, man. Subscribe on YouTube to Chris Simms Unbuttoned podcast. I need you. Please hit the subscribe button, please.